Hey, what's up, Staten Island? We are live right now. It's exactly 6:30 on the nose. We are live right now to TV. I'm here with Couture and Jasmine. What's up, guys?
Hey.
Good. So what's going on? We got beautiful weather this weekend. It's Mother's Day. What are you guys doing this weekend?
I'm spending time with my cousin for her birthday.
Nice. And how about you?
My birthday's on Saturday.
Wait, this is the cousin connection.
Yes.
Nice. We're keeping it all in the family out here. It's officially time to bring you guys live right now in the studio with Vinny and Joe. It's What's Happening on Staten Island.
Welcome to What's Happening Staten Island. I'm Joe.
And I'm Vin. Fred could not be here today. He does Fred's reality show, and he couldn't make it, so we're filling in. No guarantees on the quality of the show.
Absolutely none. But we will definitely do our best to entertain you for the next 30 minutes.
That's true.
Our show is basically a variety of topics to discuss. And for our viewers, if you have any topics that you would like to call up with and discuss, please feel free. The number is 718-727-0143.
That's right. So we have some things to talk about, starting with Mother's Day. So it's Mother's Day weekend. It's important. We're very family-oriented here on the island. What are you guys doing for Mother's Day? That's the first thing. What are you doing, Joe?
I am actually going back to my home state, in my hometown in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Love it.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's all right.
I visit once a year. I like Pennsylvania. It's nice to get away from the city life every now and then.
This is true, and
Poconos.
not too many people can say that, they travel to see their mother on Mother's Day.
Yes.
So it's a little bit of a special gift.
It's a nice gesture, man. I don't really have to leave too far from home, if at all, to see my mother. I plan on heading to Jersey, getting some foods, probably Famous Dave's or something. And then Sunday, just going to spend the day at home, just relaxing. Little piece of trivia, my birthday in 1985 was actually on Mother's Day. I was born May 12th, which fell on Mother's Day in 85. So one could say I'm the product of Mother's Day.
You're an all right product, I guess.
Yeah,
in a sense.
Not bad. I mean, I'm not getting her anything, but the time
Hugs,
spent,
man.
the time
Hugs.
spent is good, right?
Hugs. That's what I say.
Yeah.
My mother asked me what I get her. Hugs. But I have limited amount of hugs left. I'm only down to like 32, 33.
33.
So,
Wow. Okay.
yeah.
Usually I get laundry detergent for. Oh wait, that's a terrible gift.
That is
a terrible gift.
not if she's doing your laundry, I guess.
Well, yeah, I guess so, right? Well, that's what we try to avoid, being men, grown men, even though
True.
I don't really totally look it. Regardless, we have plenty of things to talk about that don't specifically and solely rely on Mother's Day. But if you want to call in and talk about what you're doing this Mother's Day, you see the number, there it is. We'll take the call whenever.
And to all mothers out there, happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day indeed.
And our next topic is Cinco de Mayo, which was yesterday, but I'm assuming that it's probably going to flow over into this weekend, which is going to be beautiful. So what do you do for Cinco de Mayo, and what do you drink for Cinco de Mayo?
Well, I can tell you what I did. I did absolutely nothing. We watched a bad movie, a few buddies and myself, and we criticized it, and we had a few drinks, nothing major, but usually I guess margarita is the drink of choice on Cinco de Mayo, which I was a little bit too cheap to afford on yesterday's Cinco de Mayo, which is the 5th of May, if you didn't know that. 5th of May. And it basically was a good weekend. It was a good day for drinking, but I didn't really do too much of it. In years past, it would be, good to go to a bar and get something to drink.
Especially on a Friday, but it fell on a Thursday, which isn't necessarily, it's close enough.
It continues. It's a 3-day drinking weekend for those that drink. Children under 21 not permitted.
This is true.
Yeah.
So for me, for what I did yesterday was relax a little bit, and actually I drank a Polish beer, which isn't very Cinco de Mayo-ish.
The name of it? Because I've heard a few names of Polish beers. What was the name of this? Do you remember?
It was spelled in Polish.
Was it Żrywiec?
No, it was Zwick or Zywick.
Żwyk?
Something like
that.
Something very similar to that.
My buddy distributes Polish beer, and Żrywiec, I think, was the one that he distributed. And I don't know how I remember how to pronounce that. I'm Italian. I don't really look it, but yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it was good. Normally, I do go out and participate in some of the festivities on Cinco de Mayo, and usually it's almost kind of like a little bit of a St. Patty's Day within itself of Mexican culture.
It is.
Spanish
It's
culture.
just, instead of green, it's blackout drunk.
True.
Yeah.
But I think both days end up being
They
blacked
pretty
out for
much,
the most
yeah,
part.
the colors turn from green to black one way or another. Always a good day. And remember, you guys can call in and tell us what you want or what you did for Cinco de Mayo and what your plans for the weekend are. In fact, I want to transition into that like a smooth criminal and talk about some things that are happening on the island this weekend, okay? We have a few things going on at the bars, if you're into that sort of thing. We have DJ Emilio Sparks tomorrow night, 10 p.m. at Black Dog on Forest Avenue. Believe it or not, he's actually my cousin. People don't see the resemblance, but we are cousins, first
Yeah,
cousins.
I wouldn't see the resemblance. No way. I mean, I never met the guy, but
Not handsome enough?
no, definitely not.
Him, right? Or
You. Anyway.
Man Down at Rhythm and Brews, which is also tomorrow, 11 p.m. on Richmond Road. And that's a good show. They do covers. They're a great cover band. I've seen them a bunch of times. Close friends with a few of the guys. What do you think about cover bands? What's your,
To be honest with you, I prefer local original bands. I like to go out and support the local musicians that are out there and really putting their heart and their passion, their soul into their music. But at the same time, when I do go out and I go out with my friends or my girlfriend or whatever, I like to hear some of the songs, kind of, like the live jukebox. I think that's the great thing about cover bands. And I really like cover bands that are able to switch it up and not do it exactly the same like the original artist. But they could always bring something new, and it's fun, and they kind of spice everything up, What about you?
Well, I remember you told me you were actually in a band at some point,
Yeah.
and as was I. And we did, we played a lot of the local bars on Staten Island, or a few of them, I should say. And we did a few covers here and there, basically scattered amongst the originals, which I feel is a really good way to do a bar show. Most people at bars do, in fact, prefer covers.
Right.
Which I understand. If I'm out at a bar, I would rather hear covers too, because it's, like you said, live jukebox. They do it a little bit different. You can watch them. Man Down, they do like Beatles stuff. I'm a big Beatles fan.
Beatles are great.
They do some, the stuff that you like from the 90s, the 60s, 70s, all the eras of music. So I think cover bands are really good, but I'm like you. I prefer the originals because that's my thing.
But like for me, when I was playing in my bands, a lot of the crowd was just teenage kids, which was kind of cool, But at the same time, you want to be able to project your music and get it out there to a wider crowd, a wider variety of people. But at the same time, I have no problem with cover bands. So keep rocking out, keep doing your thing.
That's right. And those are some things you guys can check out tomorrow. I guess in the news, we don't really have a whole lot of specific news, but Paul McCartney, speaking of Beatles and music, Paul McCartney is actually engaged again. You heard me right. This is his third marriage.
One more time.
He's getting married to Nancy Chevelle.
Does she have a shovel?
Oh, that's terrific. No, she actually doesn't. Who is this lady anyway?
I have no idea.
Well, neither do I. I mean, this guy Paul, he used to be my partner, and now he's getting married to all these people. The guy's 68 years old. 68.
Yeah, I think you should call it quits at some point.
Well, he's got such great music. I mean, he doesn't need to get married again. People love him. Why does he need to get married? It's going to end, well, she has both their legs. It's pretty good. She's 51. She's 51.
She doesn't look 51.
She looks young. She looks
I'll have to
good.
give her that.
When you're Paul McCartney, you're not going to have a difficult time getting beautiful women. That's just the way it comes. It goes down to that and that only. Paul McCartney can get whoever he wants. She's 51. She looks great. I don't know who she is. I don't know what she's done. I don't really care. If Paul's happy, he's coming out with some good music, I'm happy. I love Paul. I wish him the best.
All right. So, and a couple other things going on with the station here. We'll be showing Les Mis that was produced at, where was it?
Oh, that was Wagner High School.
Wagner High School.
Les Miserables.
Which was a terrific show, and we did some of the production for it. And if you have a chance to check it out on the station, please do. You will not be wasting your time. These kids are very, very talented, and the directors are great. And they really did put on a very good show. And for some of you who don't know what Les Mis is, it's a musical. And these kids have great voices, great talent, and they did a very, very good job.
I have to give a thank you to Diane Zarega, who actually organized the whole thing and got these kids in shape to sing and be incredible performers. In the span of only a few months, really, I helped film some of the behind-the-stage stuff, and it was fantastic. I definitely recommend you guys check it out. Not only that, too, but we actually, Joe, myself, and another coworker, we were at the Curtis production of Cabaret, which will be airing on CTV real soon. And that was equally impressive in its own way. Cabaret is a fantastic play. We had a great time shooting it and just checking it out. And highly recommended. Seems like there's a lot of creativity on the island.
Oh, absolutely. And I would have to say the director, Baldwin, from Cabaret, she did a great job with those students there. It seemed to be a little bit more of a technical play, and again, it's a musical, and it's about this writer from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, coincidentally, and he ends up falling in love with one of the head Kit Kat girls at the Kit Kat Club, which is kind of like a burlesque type thing, and it takes place in Germany around
just before World War II.
Yeah. So it was a very interesting play, and again, those kids did a terrific job with that too. Beautiful voices, and their acting was very well done, and the choreography with the dancing and everything also really, really, really well. So if you get a chance, that will be on the air shortly.
Sometime.
And do check it out if you get a chance.
Absolutely.
And now on to weather with Buns Toboggany.
All right. Well, we've got some weather updates for everyone. We've got low of 53 degrees Fahrenheit on Friday with some showers. That's today. Precipitation 40%.
And we have a caller.
All right, we've got a live caller. Hello, caller. You're on the air. The Buns Toboggany, the weather guy.
How's it going? All right.
Yeah.
What's your name, caller?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, I'm just calling in to say hello. I see you guys are live right now. I just wanted to see, is this real? Is this really live?
This is really live. What's your name, caller?
My name's Vincenzo.
Vincenzo. How you doing, Vincenzo? Are you calling from Italy?
No. I'm not actually. I mean, unless you want to call the part of Staten Island where I'm from, Italy, you could say that.
You could say that.
This is true. This is true. So what did you do for Cinco de Mayo?
Well, where I come from, we call it Cinco De Mayo, and I had a bowl of pasta and some Parmigiano with my grandmother.
Little Parmesan. See, that's me. I'm Italian. I'm Vincenzo as well. I love to hear that, man. That's great.
Cool. Oh, you're Vincenzo. Oh,
I'm a Vincenzo.
Cool, man.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah. You're the one with the hair, right?
I'm the one with the crazy hair, yeah.
He's the one with the hair. I'm the one with the hat.
Does
I have a
anyone-
normal name.
Does anyone know a barber? Seriously, help me.
What about you? Do you know any barbers that could help my friend out?
My Uncle Anthony was a barber, but that was back in Italy. God rest his soul. But there is a good barber down on Highland Boulevard. I don't know.
We'll figure something out. I'll get this trimmed at some point.
That's a good reference. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Listen, I just wanted to say I'm proud of you guys. It's so cool to see people doing live television on Staten Island. That's such a cool thing to see on television. Keep on doing what you're doing. Tanti auguri. Buona serata.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you, Vincenzo.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you guys. You guys are fabulous.
Thank you. That was a great first caller.
That was excellent. A little surprised that we even got a caller, but I think it went pretty well for the first time.
I think so.
Not too bad.
He sounded like a Vincenzo, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
He did. I'm a Vincenzo. I know what these
Yep.
things sound like. I don't sound very Italian. People criticize me for
You
that
don't look
sometimes.
Italian.
Nope, not
No.
at all. But I am 100%, and I guarantee it.
You're a little more Casper there.
Yeah, I know.
Pretty
I'm
well.
transparent. I'm surprised I'm not bleeding through the background.
Into the clouds, melting into
Yeah,
the
yeah.
clouds.
Oh. Wow, that's our special effects. He's amazing. Really, we pay him nothing.
A lot in soda.
So what we have, Buns Toboggany has not finished the weather. Okay, Saturday, the weather is a high of 69 degrees Fahrenheit, a low of 52 degrees Fahrenheit, few showers, precipitation 30%. What is precipitation? I've never figured that out, and I have a PhD in meteorology. Sunday, we have a high of 71 Fahrenheit. We've got a low of 53, mostly sunny, precipitation 10%. So I guess that means the weather's going to be real nice. Take your family out to a picnic on Mother's Day. I'm Buns Toboggany with the weather. Back to you, Trip.
All right. This is Trip. to talk about sports. Now, what I would like to talk about a little bit is pretty much, well, eventually this series is going to be called the Collection Plate Series because the two poorest baseball teams in the entire league are playing tonight in New York, the New York Mets and the LA Dodgers. And they're both actually pretty bad, and I'm not really going to hold back all that much. And we got another caller.
Caller, you're on the air.
Hello.
Caller,
Hey, how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, caller. What's your name?
My name is Steve.
Hi, Steve. How you doing? You're on with Vinny, and this is Joe.
Hello. Hello, Joe. Hello, Vinny.
How you doing?
I'm alright. How you guys doing?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Doing great, man. So, what are you interested in talking about tonight?
Well, I'm guessing that this is just like random ask whatever you want, correct?
Yeah, sure.
That's true.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll just start out with a general question. What are you guys, well, I guess, how to put this, what are your guys, like, favorite movie and why?
Favorite movie? That's a good question. That's a really
I'll
good
take
question.
It. Absolutely.
You want to go first? You got one?
Yeah, I have one. I have two, but I'll give you both of them real quick. Clockwork Orange. I love Stanley Kubrick, anything he's done. But my favorite movie is Blade Runner. I know I get a lot of flack for that because, people don't get it. It's too long. It's too slow. But if you've ever seen Blade Runner, that movie is fantastic. Directed by Ridley Scott, 1983, I believe.
Somewhere around 83, 84.
Harrison Ford. You can't beat Harrison Ford.
Young Harrison
seriously.
Ford, too.
Indiana Jones, straight off the Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark. Here he is doing Blade Runner with a masterful director. That's my favorite movie. I'm sticking to it.
Mine would have to be, it's tough, but I love One Flew Over Cuckoo's Nest with Jack Nicholson, which is an oldie but a goodie. And also True Romance with Christian Slater was in it. I think Tony Scott directed it, and Quentin Tarantino wrote it, which was one of his first major films written. And both of those films, I think, are just great, and especially for their times and the actors and how they were all put together, just really made them something.
Yeah. And Tony Scott, it's Ridley's brother, man.
Right.
So, I mean, we both have an interest in the Scott brothers for some weird reason. Great directors.
And what about you? We still got our caller?
Yeah, I'm still here.
What about you, man?
Yeah, I don't know. For me, I'm kind of like a mixed bag. It probably has to be a toss-up between Goodfellas or, believe it or not, that movie Kevin Costner was in, Wyatt Earp. And I just think the reason for that is just because Goodfellas it's a really good, like, it's a gangster movie and everything, but I don't feel like it tries to be too much over the top, you know what I mean, compared to like Scarface or, something else like that. And it's something that I can just sit down and watch it no matter what I'm doing. If I see it's on or whatever, I'll stop completely what I'm doing and watch it. And Wyatt Earp, just because, I don't know, I know it's Kevin Costner and everything, but I just, for some reason, I like the old, like the Wild West kind of stories and everything, and
Me too, man.
I like his story, so to speak, because he was like pseudo lawman, I guess, back in the day.
Absolutely. Have you ever seen Tombstone?
Yes, I have. That's what I was going to compare it to, but I actually prefer Wyatt Earp a little bit more over Tombstone, but I still love Tombstone as well, too.
Like I said, I love good movies, good directing. Tombstone and Wyatt Earp are just two great movies. You put them next to each other, and that's like the Old West, man. That's good stuff. Good choices.
Well, you can't go wrong with the cast in Wyatt Earp or with Tombstone. I mean,
Kurt Russell, Kevin Costner. I like Costner.
Val Kilmer in Tombstone is just a
Doc Holliday.
It's just a quote for that Doc Holliday, yeah.
Yeah, wonderful, man. Wonderful.
Yeah, I think one of those things, like, you can always get you always know it's a really good movie when you get the good cast, and then you get the director, and you hear the cast do their lines and really work with each other, and then you start to get lost in that story and lost in that film, and then next thing you know, it's over and you're still wanting more. And I think all the movies that we discussed and brought up are really able and capable of doing that.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
That was a great question, caller. Thank you, Steve, and I'll see you around. I'm sure I will.
All right. Thank you very much. It's good talking to you guys.
All right, same to you. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. It's a great call. So you were doing your sports spiel.
Yes, my spiel about the sports. And back to the Dodgers and the Mets, which is going to be past the collection plate series very shortly because they're both about to go broke.
Love it.
And not to mention that the Mets were tied up in that swindle with the pyramid scheme guy. I forget his name. So basically that's going on now, I believe, or at 7 o'clock, 7:15, 7:30.
Okay.
And right now the Dodgers are 15-17 overall record, and they're 6-8 as their away record, and they're playing in New York. And for the Mets, they're 13-18 and 6-10 at home, which is a pretty bad record when you think about home field advantage in any type of sports franchise or sports league. You know, when they come to your place, like that's supposed to be the dominating force. And right now, the Mets are just kind of this dwindling franchise where they don't have the big name players. You know, they have some of their players like Jose Reyes, great guy, great player, and he's still in his prime, I think. But at some point, he's going to want to go. I think he wants to go now. And that was probably the best time for him to go because he's still in his prime and he's still going to get the money that he's looking for. And also the Mets have Carlos Beltran, who's 34, 35 years old, and he's got a bum knee. And he got hurt a couple of years ago, and from a couple of other Mets fans that I know, they said that he's just not the same. And he was a great ball player when he was 28, 30, and in his prime. I mean, that's why the Mets got him, you know. But other than that, I mean, he's just kind of been declining ever since. And for our starting pitchers tonight, the Dodgers got Kuroda, who's 3-2 with a 3.10 ERA, which is pretty good. It's not terrific, but pretty good for your opening pitcher. And for the Mets, their starting pitcher his record is 1-4 with a 4.71 ERA, which, in my opinion, is just like pretty bad.
And I know absolutely nothing about sports.
That's fine, but you should know that it's not very good. But other than that, the Dodgers themselves, and I'm actually a Dodgers fan, which is kind of odd, but in any sense. It is. Considering I'm from Pennsylvania and I live in New York.
Let's explore it for a minute. What makes you a Dodgers, just out of curiosity?
I was born in '83, growing up, and the Dodgers had great franchise then. You know, Orel Hershiser was on there. And they had a couple other like really good ball players. Jeff Gibson, I believe his name was Jeff Gibson. I always messed that up. And I think they won the World Series in, I want to say 88, 89. And it was a great series. And growing up, I played baseball, and I was a catcher. And at that time, the Dodgers just got Mike Piazza, who ended up playing later ended up playing for the New York Mets. And I guess that's why I ended up liking the Dodgers, you know.
That's great, man. Well,
it's a great franchise, too. I mean, with their background, I mean, the Dodgers started in Brooklyn, New York. I mean, they were the Yankees before they were the Yankees. So, and then, you know, they changed a lot. They had Jackie Robinson, they had Koufax, they had Brooks Robinson. I mean, those three guys right there kind of say baseball. They spell out baseball, in my opinion. And that's kind of why I ended up being a Dodgers fan. And now I'm starting to feel a little weary about it, just like some of you Mets fans out there that are kind of looking at the franchise and looking at the team and wondering, you know, what's it going to be next year? What is it going to be in 10 years from now, you know? So... yeah, that kind of sums it up.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then we got the New York Yankees, which is obviously the New York's favorite team.
You're not a fan of the Yankees. I am. My first ball game I've ever been to was a Yankees game. So
the Yankees are great, and they have a great franchise, and they have a great history, especially for baseball. Fantastic history. And right now, they're currently on a 3-game losing streak after playing the Detroit Tigers 3 games, and they lost all 3 games. And they're 17-12 on the season so far, 5-6 away, and they're playing at Texas tonight against the Rangers, and the Rangers are 17-15 and 11-5 at home, which is a great record.
We have a phone call, actually, so go ahead, patch him through. Caller, you're on the air. What is your name?
Hey, my name is David.
Hi, David. How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
So you're calling in. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, I'm staying with some family up here. I'm from Chicago.
Okay.
And there's something I need to discuss.
Okay.
And I don't think you guys are going to like to hear it, but the food is better up in Chicago than here. Now, I'm not saying it's bad. some of the finest I've ever had, compared to the garbage I had up in Seattle one time.
Well, hey, at least you're not comparing us to Seattle, you know?
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
I'll take.
Seattle, terrible, except for the Asian food. But you can get good Asian food anywhere.
This is true.
Yeah,
This is true.
absolutely.
Well, we got good Asian food here. We got great Chinese food here, and
Well, where there's Chinese, there's good food.
I agree.
As long as it ain't Koreans posing as Chinese, you know, like over up in this area, we got a lot of Laotians, and they really like certain buffets of the most generic, tasteless food you ever tasted.
So wait a minute. You're staying in New York now, but you said Chicago foods. What specifically is better in Chicago?
Well, I gotta say the pizzas. I mean, you guys make a really good pizza, but when it comes to the reputation, I gotta say the Chicago pizza, be it Chicago style or just regular pizza, beats New York. Although I will say, the best pizza I ever had was up in Milwaukee, of all places.
Really?
And,
Wow.
Yeah, there was this place my sister told me about.
You sound a little like you're from Milwaukee, I have to say.
Well, you know, it kind of sounds similar. Milwaukee, they don't like to hear this, but it's kind of more like an offshoot of Chicago. They don't like to hear that, though.
We'll keep it quiet.
Yeah.
New York will never say
Never
anything.
secret.
Yeah.
And everybody that's watching.
And all of Staten Island. Caller, quick question. You had deep dish style pizza in Chicago. Have you ever had a New York style, Chicago style deep dish pizza?
Oh, that's hard to wrap my mind around, but
It's a paradox.
I'll give it a try,
It's
and maybe I'll give recommendations.
It's like that movie Inception. You just keep going deeper and deeper, and then
Yeah, deeper into the pizza.
into the
I know.
pizza. Yeah.
What about Pennsylvania pizza? You ever get out to PA and have a couple of their slices?
Oh no, I've heard Philly, pretty bad city. My sister, she went through there, dirtiest city she ever went through.
We
So,
they got good cheesesteaks.
Pennsylvania is kind of on my do not visit list.
Well,
That's all right. That's actually my hometown, but well, Scranton area. It's it's a couple hours outside of Philadelphia, but
That's fine. You know.
yeah,
People
but you know what? They
talk
got great
a lot bad
cheesesteaks,
about
man.
where
the cheesesteaks.
Fries is, and I gotta be honest, it's pretty bad. Pretty bad.
Well, I'll tell you what, caller. We're gonna agree to disagree, and we're gonna move on. So thank you for calling in. I appreciate it.
All right.
All right.
You guys have a good time.
Take care,
Hey,
David.
thanks. Have a good night.
Later.
Good night.
All right. So we're starting to wind down our show here.
Well, there is one more thing. We found out what you and I are doing for the weekend, but our camera guy Nick, we haven't figured out what he's
That's
doing
right.
for the weekend.
We almost
And,
forgot.
Nick, before you do anything, tell us what you're doing this weekend without using any words. We don't have you mic'd.
Bush.
Jersey Shore.
Yeah, big time.
So, we don't pay him.
Yeah, thank God, because that was kind of useless.
He was on the street with a shopping cart. Anyway,
Yeah.
we're moving on. We're gonna be finishing soon, but there's a few movies coming out this weekend. There's a lot of interesting things going on in the theaters. We got the Thor movie. We got The People versus George Lucas. And these are some big movies. And then there's Hobo with a Shotgun, which I've seen, but it's getting a limited theatrical release.
I heard that. I heard it had great reviews too. A very unique story. Sounds like a very unique story.
Highly recommended. Hobo with a Shotgun.
Kind of a vigilante type movie, I guess, right?